Hey nerds, Alex here from Nerds Being Geeks, and today I want to talk about the return of Team Rocket. No, not that set. Team Rocket is coming back to the Pokemon TCG in the May 2025 set Destined Rivals. And with that release, I wanted to talk about some of those Team Rocket Pokemon that can show up in GLC. But I mainly wanted to focus on the Dark type. Before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to Justin Basil. I pulled these proxy translations from his website, justinbasil.com. At the time of making this video, not every card had a translated proxy, so there are some subtitles on the side, but it all works. So thank you, Justin. I appreciate what you do. But before we dive in, I have a few parameters I want to talk about. Because there are Team Rocket EX Pokemon like Crobat, Zubat, and Golbat are basically worthless since you can't play EX Pokemon in GLC. So I won't be talking about EX, this is only Pokemon in the Gym Leader Challenge format. Now, like I said, my focus was on Dark type. However, there are other trainers that have Pokemon with the Dark type in this set, like Marnie's Morpeko. I'm only talking about Team Rocket mainly because their trainer cards are insane. And who doesn't love Team Rocket? So I'm not going to talk about every Team Rocket Pokemon in the Dark type for GLC. Some just aren't very good for GLC. For example, unfortunately, Team Rocket's Weezing isn't going to be very good in Gym Leader Challenge, since Gym Leader Challenge is a singleton format, and all of his damage comes from having a ton of wheezing and coughing on your bench. And like I stated before, Team Rocket isn't just in the Dark type. There are Team Rocket fighting Pokemon, lightning Pokemon, and even colorless Pokemon. I'm only focusing on Dark type playable Team Rocket GLC cards. Got it? Good. Moving on to the Pokemon. So the first Pokemon I want to talk about, not really this Ekans, nothing special about it, but it's this Team Rocket's Arbok with Intimidating Glare ability. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any Pokemon that has an ability from their hand, excluding Team Rocket Pokemon. So decks that rely heavily on Pokemon with abilities can totally get shut down with this card being in the active. For 3 Darkness Energy, Spinning Tail, this attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Spreading damage in this set is going to be huge. And one reason it's going to be huge is the next Pokemon on our list, Team Rocket's Sneasel. For 2 Dark Energies, Backstab. This Pokemon does 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for each damage counter already on that Pokemon. So Dark Spread is about to get much, much stronger. This card plays really well off Arbok. There's also an Evital from a few sets ago that spreads damage. I think there's like an Absol that spreads damage. Yeah, this could add up really quick and use some great sniping attacks. And because it's a Team Rocket Sneasel, you can play another Sneasel because 2 different names. So that also makes your Weavile good. But there's no Team Rocket's Weavile in this set. Don't really need to talk about the female Nidoran, but the Nidorina has a really cool attack. Dark Awakening for 1 Dark Energy. Choose up to 2 of your Dark Pokemon. For each of those Pokemon, search your deck for a card that evolves from that Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon to evolve it. Then shuffle your deck. So it's basically TM Evolution. And you can do 50 damage for 2 Dark. What I'm really excited about is Team Rocket's Nidoqueen. For 1 Dark Energy, Love Impact does 60 damage. If you have any bench Pokemon with Nidoking in its name, this attack does 120 more damage. So there is a Nidoqueen, Nidoking Darkness deck archetype out there. It doesn't see a ton of play, but I love that it's there. And I think this is going to replace the Nidoqueen in that deck. Just to hit 180 for 1 energy is really good. Of course, you have to have the Nidoking in play. But I believe the Nidoking that sees play is the one from the 151 set. And it also does 130 damage for 2 darkness energy. 130 for 2 is pretty solid. Next up, Team Rocket's Grimer. For a dark and a colorless, at the end of your opponent's next turn, discard the defending Pokemon and all cards attached to it. These don't usually tend to work out just because switching is so active in Gym Leader Challenge. But if you're able to pull it off for any reason, nice. It's not a knockout, but makes them scoop up a Pokemon that maybe they really didn't want scooped up. But that Grimer leads into Team Rocket's Muck. Dark and a colorless sticky mess. 40 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused during your opponent's next turn. That Pokemon can't retreat. And then for 2 dark and a colorless, Venom Hazard. This attack does 100 damage for each special condition affecting your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you're able to pull off Sticky Mess, you already get 1 with Confusion. And there's tons of things in the card pool that can create special conditions, but one that I already play in my Poison Dark deck is Hypnotoxic Laser. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is also asleep. So if you're able to get Confusion, Poison, and Asleep on there, 300 damage. So let's jump into the Team Rocket trainers. These are basically the whole reason I'm making this video. These things are crazy for Team Rocket's Pokemon. And I only focused on Dark because I feel like that is where the majority of the Team Rocket Pokemon are and the ones that'll most likely see play. So let's start off with supporters. Team Rocket's Petrol. Search your deck for a trainer, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. It is basically a reprint of Skyla, and Skyla sees play here and there. So you could play both of these cards that do the exact same thing and basically search out any trainer you want. So next up we have Team Rocket's Archer. You can play this card only if any of your Team Rocket's Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck, then you draw 5 cards, your opponent draws 3. So it's a lot like Ace Trainer or Roxanne, but just for Team Rocket's Pokemon. And both of those trainers also see play. Team Rocket's Proton. If you go first, you can use this card during your first turn. Search your deck for up to 3 basic Team Rocket's Pokemon, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. If most of your Pokemon are gonna be Team Rocket's Pokemon, this is a must. This is just an incredible card, and I would also play it with, some other basic search trainers. It's just one more out to get those Pokemon onto your bench. Team Rocket's Ariana. Draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. If all of your Pokemon in play are Team Rocket's Pokemon, draw until you have 8 cards in your hand instead. This one reminds me a little bit of Cynthia's Ambition. Draw until you have 5. One of your Pokemon was knocked out last turn, draw until you get 8. But it's just for Team Rocket's Pokemon. Team Rocket's Giovanni. Switch your active Team Rocket's Pokemon with one of your bench Team Rocket's Pokemon. If you do, switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. It's mostly a Guzma for Team Rocket's Pokemon. And Guzma is basically a standard in Gym Leader Challenge. So now you're starting to see why I focused on the Dark Pokemon, with that being the most Team Rocket's Pokemon. These trainers that focus just on Team Rocket's Pokemon, they're just insane. They're incredibly powerful. I mean, you can play Guzma and Team Rocket's Giovanni and Boss's Orders. Let's move on to Team Rocket items. Team Rocket's Great Ball. I love the black and red. This ball looks so sweet. Flip a coin. If heads, search your deck for an evolution Team Rocket's Pokemon, reveal it, and put it in your hand. If tails, search your deck for a basic Team Rocket's Pokemon, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Shuffle your deck. It's basically a Capturing Aroma, but only for Team Rocket's Pokemon. Just another way to get those Pokemon out of your deck. This card is just insane. Team Rocket's Receiver. Search your deck for a supporter card with Team Rockets in its name. Reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. It reminds me a lot of Tag Call. This one I threw at the end for the items because I can see it working in some decks and maybe not so much in others. Flip a coin. If heads, put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If tails, put 2 damage counters on your active Pokemon. You can see this getting played in Monkey Dory decks where you can move 3 damage counters from your Pokemon over to your opponent's Pokemon. So you get a heads, you put 2 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon. If you get tails, then you can just move it back from your Pokemon to one of theirs. So I don't know if it'll get played in Dark, but I thought it was interesting and worth mentioning. Team Rocket's Stadiums. So we got Team Rocket's Factory. Once during each player's turn, if that player played a supporter card with Team Rocket in its name from their hand, during that turn, that player may draw 2 cards. So if you're basing a deck off Team Rocket's Pokemon, with the supporters, with the items, this is a must-have. You just draw 2 cards. And if you played a supporter that let you drew up to 5 or up to 8 or anything like that, man, you just get to draw cards. Next is Team Rocket's Watchtower. Colorless Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent, have no abilities. So this is basically a tech card for colorless. It is still one of the most popular decks in the whole format. And if you are facing colorless decks every week, this might be a way to counteract those Snorlaxes and those Barrels and those Squovits and the whole colorless engine will get shut down with this one supporter. But there's a good chance that it'll get bumped before you really get to use it. But I thought it was worth mentioning. I feel like it's a direct attack on colorless GLC decks. Team Rocket now has its own energy card, and it is absolutely gorgeous. This card can only be attached to a Team Rocket's Pokemon. If this card is attached to anything other than Team Rocket's Pokemon, discard this card. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides 2 in any combination of Psychic and Dark energy. I love this card because it's got the purple of the Psychic with the logo of the Dark. Really cool. And a lot of the Team Rocket's Pokemon that I mentioned are 3 energy attackers. So this is a good way to power them up. You could even do an attachment and with this card and play a Crispin if you wanted and get that other energy. You got a 3 energy turn. This is a great way to power up those 3 energy cost Pokemon like Muck and Arbok. Alright, just want to say thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the Team Rocket Pokemon for the Darkness type in Gym Leader Challenge. Are you going to be making a deck with these Pokemon? Are you just going to ignore them? Are you just going to sprinkle some in? Let me know what you guys are going to do. And I appreciate you watching. And I'll see you in the next one.